everybody, it's Hope Chapman, Jesu Otaku here with return to the wonderful world of Fruits Basket after another very long hiatus. These things seem to happen every once in a while, 5 months or so, no more Fruits Basket, and everybody's wondering where it went. Well, it's back now, and also back we have our cast interview segment, very long-awaited return of our wonderful cast members and make this show what it is. And so over on my right, or perhaps, you know, somewhere far to the east or west or north, who's to say, it's the internet, we have Toria, who plays Arisa Uotani. How you doing, Toria?
I'm doing all right. I'm a little tired, but good.
Yeah, it is busy season for those people who are in school, which actually I'm not so much so. I don't exactly miss that right now. That's for sure.
Dog.
Yeah, and somewhere far, far away in a place where I need to silence my phone. Somewhere far, far away where it is presently tomorrow rather than yesterday, where it is on the in the States. We have Mel, who plays the wonderful Saki Hanajima. How you doing, Mel?
Hi, I'm calling from the future. Not something to look forward to.
Oh, man. That sucks. I was getting all, you know, jazzed about the future and stuff.
Yeah, well, it is at night, so it could be better.
Yeah, it'd be better when the sun comes up, yes.
Yeah.
Awesome, cool. All right, well, I guess I'll just jump right into our first question here. And it's been a while. It's now been about 2 years since the project was started. So you dust off the old memory banks for this question. But if you can talk about how you remember the audition process going, how you first heard about the show, and how your audition went, and what was getting your role like or preparing for your part like. And Toria, we'll start with you.
Okay. I remember hearing about this project. A friend of mine regularly checked like the Voice Acting Alliance and any other voice acting projects that were on the internet at the time, and she gave me this information, and I was really excited when I found out that it was Fruits Basket. I'm a longtime fan of Fruits Basket since high school, and I immediately set about auditioning for every single female character ever.
Yes, you did, and some of the boys, actually, some of the little boys.
Right, yeah, I knew I wanted to be involved in this in no matter how big or small capacity. And I just sent in all the auditions ever, and Jo sent me an email back that was like, wow, you sent the most auditions out of anyone. And Jo emailed me back pretty quickly asking me to be Arisa Uotani, which I did not expect at all. I feel like that was my least strong audition, to be honest. And but I was really excited because Arisa's always been a really fun character for me, and I'm waiting around for the episode where she finally meets the rooster.
Ah, yes.
Very, very excited about that. But it's been a lot of fun playing her. I feel like Arisa's a little bit of my inner voice that I don't let people hear that often. She's rough, and she's
your inner voice has a lot of bad language.
Yeah, well, you'd be surprised how much I have to filter. But it's been really fun playing her, and the audition process was pretty. I mean, I didn't have to send in anything. Jo was just kind of like, "Hey, you want to be Arisa?" I was like, "Sure." So that was what it was like for me.
Yeah, it was pretty chill. I remember I received your auditions fairly early on, and most people did audition for a lot of roles. There were people that would, you know, usually at least 3 or so. But what stunned me about Toria's email is, you know, I get all these in attachments, so I'll open it up in an email, I'll see 3 different audio file attachments. I'm like, all right, good. And I download all, put them in a folder, listen to them later. And so I get Toria's email. It's like, you know, heard about the project, really excited. You know, hope these are acceptable. And it's 18 files. It's every female. It's not just like, it's every last one, you know, every female, no matter the voice range, no matter anything, and then all the boy characters that could potentially be played by women, the Momiji, the hero, the Akito, you know.
I think
boom! And I was like, huh, well, you know, and my first worry was like, I hope these all aren't really terrible, because then I'm going to listen to every last one of them, you know, because I'm trying to optimize to cast the best person. But just absolutely wonderful in every single one. Like, even the ones where your voice didn't match necessarily the character, I was blown away by how versatile of an actress you were. So I was like, Where does she best fit? Because I know I'm going to cast her somewhere. And so, yeah, it didn't take me too long before I kind of realized that the I guess candidness and sort of I guess fun sort of dominant snark that would tend to leak into your voice fit best those sort of cool snarky the female characters like Mayu, and eventually I decided on Arisa. And yeah, like I was really excited to have you on board, and you've been great in the role so far. So
Thanks.
um, yeah, excited to. You mentioned. Well, you know what? I'll bring up more stuff about the future of that character when that comes up. But I'll go ahead and move on to Mel. What was your audition like? Finding your.
Well, I came across the call for auditions on that guy with the glasses,
Mhm.
and it was kind of a huge coincidence because I had only just found that side panel where you have all the videos that were posted on that same day. And I was on a completely different video, and I saw that in the little side panel, and I thought, oh well, that sounds interesting. And I had actually been looking for something new to do that would not be impossible with a 9 to 5 job.
Mm.
So I was pretty excited. And the first thing I did was browsing through the character lists. And Hana was actually the first character I kind of lingered and looked at the profile. But I put her aside because I figured, well, I figured I would be one of the older people who'd audition because I'm almost 30 now, and I was very self-conscious about my accent, so I kind of put Hannah aside for a while and scrolled through the rest, and the thought process went something like, okay, old and weird accent, so this is a no-brainer, go for villain. So that's why
Yes, I was going to mention. Yes.
so the first character I tried out for was Ren Soma.
Mm.
Mm.
And then I tried out some of the minor roles, most of which I didn't even send. It was just for fun. And then I got back to Hana, and I had almost worked up the courage to try out for her, but there was this improv challenge you added, which was, I don't even remember quite clearly. You had to come up with a spell, Hana would say, but it had to be about food, and that completely threw me. I was like, what is this? I
Oh
don't
my
even.
god.
Yeah, I was.
And
I'm not sure what was running through my mind at the time. I know I wanted to see like some. The reason that for the bigger characters, for the main cast, I included this sort of like little improv challenge along with the monologues. There was like one short monologue for the tertiary characters, two for the secondary, and if it was close to the main cast, I was like, and here's this other thing I want you to do. And I think it was because I wanted to see like the amount of creativity or devotion that I could get out of some people to kind of show that they were really into the part, because it was going to be, there was going to be a lot of work, especially for those main roles. I had so many lines, and I guess some sick, twisted part of me just wanted to see that creativity in people and see what would happen and who kind of understood the character the best. And so yeah, I included some stuff like the improv, and yeah, if I remember correctly, you didn't. The first pass of auditions you sent in, Hana was not in there, right? Because of
yeah.
that. Mm.
Then, well, I was on the fence about it. I didn't know if I should try out. And then you sent me an email actually, and asked me to try out for Hana. And then I thought, well, I just go for it. And it ended up being a lot of fun. But I wasn't actually well, I didn't think it was good, the audition. So I was kind of surprised when I think it was a few days later when you asked me to play Hana, and I was just like, oh, okay, great, oh my God, and ran around the house and all that stuff. So it worked out fine.
Yeah. And yeah, I remember receiving your auditions, and there was a distinct case. We have several, I guess, international members in the cast some who sort of hide their accents, some not so much. Like I definitely want to mention Gemma, who plays Michan, Shigeru's tortured editor. She asked when I gave her the part, she said, "Do you want me to I can sort of do an American accent?" I said, "By all means, keep, don't hide it," because it said that really like uptight, like trembling sort of North, British thing she's got going on kind of brings the character out more. And so I said, yeah, by all means, don't hide that. And it was a similar case with you, Mel, when you sent in your Ren audition. It was very scary, and it was very good. And I was like, this is great, but I'm not sure if I want to cast her as Ren or not, because Ren isn't going to appear for a really long time. And I was, for Ren, kind of looking for somebody that I knew could play the part, but I knew was also sort of like into voice acting. It would still be there. The part was eventually given to Natalie Van Sistine, who was really into voice acting and stuff, and she'll be around when that part comes up. And but it's going to be a while. But I knew that, you know, I definitely wanted you in something. And when it came to casting people with really distinct voices or accents in the Soma family, that would be a little tricky because you know, the Soma family, they're all related, and it would be a little odd if I did almost cast a gentleman who had a very thick Hispanic accent as Haru. Actually, because he had such a good audition, but it didn't quite go through. But there were temptations. But yeah, when I heard your auditions, I was like, yeah, she really should read Hana. And I remember you telling me, oh, no, like the improv was kind of weird, so I wasn't sure about it. And I was like, go for it. And obviously it turned out great. Everybody really, really loves your interpretation of Hana, and it's a lot of fun. She's very, very funny. I love the humor that you brought to the character and stuff. So yeah, very happy to have you on board. So I guess I'll move on from there to what was your knowledge of Fruits Basket going into the project compared to now? Did you do much research afterwards? You know, how big of a fan were you going in? And we know Toria's answer, so a little bit. So before we jump right into that, Mel, what was your I guess familiarity with Fruits Basket prior to being cast?
Next to nothing. I had read a few chapters. It was published in a magazine here, and I had read a few chapters, but it didn't quite stick because it sounded a lot like Ranma, and I don't really like that manga. And for the audition, I actually watched the whole anime, which is not that long, so that's not that impressive. And I read the character description you wrote, and I researched Hana on that Fruits Basket wiki thing to know her backstory, and that was pretty much it. And that's pretty much it for now, because I kind of run with the I don't want to know crowd. I want to be surprised, and I figure Hana doesn't know. Okay, she has her suspicions, but she doesn't really know anything about the zodiac stuff. So I thought neither should I. And there are some spoilers you just can't read around. You just know some stuff. But apart from that, I'm excited about every new episode because that's when I found out about the story.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Toria, you said you were a huge fan going in. So did you, after getting the role, did you do much to try to get into Uo, or were you already like really gung ho about it?
Well, I already liked Uo. She was already a really fun character. I loved reading her stuff. Like I said, I'm a big fan of it. It's the only manga in the world that I own all of the volumes, and I have read several times. But
Me too.
When I got the part, I immediately picked up, I believe it's volume 7, which goes into Uo's backstory. And it's one of my favorite ones that she's in. Another one of my favorites is, I'm trying to keep this spoiler-free as possible, but when she does the play at the school is another one of my favorite moments. It's, I didn't do a whole lot of preparation. Like I said, Uo is kind of my inner angry child. And I was glad that I already knew all the stuff about her. And I just, you know, every once in a while I'll pick up a volume and I'll make sure to read over Uo's speech patterns and stuff like that, and look at the animation to get some you know, some tips and things like that.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to some of Uo's more backstory based stuff as well, and a lot of people are looking forward to the play, which you know, it's funny. That's cited as like the play that the cast puts on, which won't be for several more episodes, but has been cited, like a lot of people really love that part of the story. And I think right when I first started the project, it had not struck me that that was such a memorable thing. I was like, really? You know, and then I went back and I read the books, and I think like going into the adapting a property like this where you have to kind of put yourself into the brain of each character as you write them and then come back out and look at that on the story whole and all this other stuff.
Right.
It really did strike me. I was like, man, why didn't I remember that this is one of the, you know, most awesome parts of the books. And then I thought about how interesting it's going to be to act, as we brought up in the last cast interview segment.